see why they call it the River of Grass. And it was once all like this. A sheet of shallow water 100 miles wide, flowing down over South Florida to the sea. It was a paradise for wildlife, but no place for man. There was little dry land, but we soon saw to that. We began draining the glades and straightening its rivers and streams into canals and ditches, and a habitat that was once home to thousands of forms of wildlife became the domain of the plow and the cow and the developer. When President Truman set part of the Everglades aside 50 years ago, he created a national park, but also what has now become half a century of controversy. As for decades, farmers and developers have drained off and polluted the water supply to the park, killing or driving off wildlife, and threatening to irrevocably change our nation's most fragile environment.
Insecticide, pesticides, fertilizer come down through the glades.
Kern Baxter is an Everglades guide and member of the Audubon Society and Nature Conservancy. Naturally, he feels strongly about saving the glades.
You look at it, you see these birds all over the place out here. And it's a nice place for them. That's where they come to live. That's where all the animals are out here too. And they're gonna see it, because if we don't protect it, we ain't gonna have nothing to show to our kids. We gotta protect that. We gotta make it better than what it was. When man destroys, man has to repair.
Today, the Everglades are a source of water. And just as we rely on its waters, the waters rely on us.
It was at the park's 50th anniversary celebration that Vice President Gore announced what may be one of the most significant efforts in restoring the Everglades, the acquisition of the Talisman Sugar Plantation, 55,000 acres of land just north of the park. That doesn't mean we can restore the glades to original size, but we can try to restore and protect that which remains. US 41, the Tamiami Trail, takes you right through the glades, and the rest stops along the way take you right into them. Here you'll see why they call it the River of Grass, a sheet of water miles wide but only inches deep, flowing over South Florida to the sea. And amidst all the water and grass, the wonderful wildlife for which the glades are so famous, and which so many people are working so hard to save. But to fully appreciate this place, you really ought to take a tour. And if you have to choose, go by airboat. They're fast, fun, and if you get a good guide, you'll not only get a good look at the glades, you'll get a great lesson.
We've been able to see alligators and ospreys and several other bird species that I don't think I'd ever get to see if I went back on a boat like this.
You need to protect areas like this. It must be, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but this must be so fragile. It just would have to be with such shallow water and a delicate balance here that it must be very fragile.
Bus and van tours are available with guides like Kern Baxter. Kern and his colleagues know the glades well and seem to be on good terms with some of the residents.
Now you cannot tell the difference between a male or female alligator by looking at it.
What do you do, ask it?
No, it takes a surgical procedure. Let's see, to tell, of course, another male alligator knows whether it's a female or not, of course. Watch out now, Captain. He's getting a little closer there. A little wild, yep.
Campsites are available throughout the park. You can choose from full hookups to your own tropical atoll in the park's western extremity, the 10,000 Islands. A marked channel runs through the islands, 99 miles from Everglades City to Flamingo. It's called the Wilderness Waterway, and it's a tour of the largest mangrove forest in the country. Or if you prefer, an hour-and-a-half tour aboard the Manatee II with Captain Ray Evans out of Everglades City. It's not only highly educational, it's very entertaining.
We must stay between the channel markers or boat stops. They call this going aground. I call it a career move.
Ray laces a lot of humor into his deadpan delivery, but you'll learn a lot from a man who truly loves his work.
The white pelicans on your left, the largest birds in our state, have over 7 feet wingspan, can weigh up to 16 pounds.
The Everglades, according to Mrs. Browner, one of the head of the EPA, is the crown jewel of the Park Service. It's a very unique national park. We don't have another one anything like it.